It's all around you. There it is again, but you can't see it. It's the wind, a free energy source that is being captured here on top of Beech Mountain. This is the small-scale wind study project being conducted by Appalachian State University.
About 5 years ago, I got a call from Larry Shirley, who was the new director of the State Energy Office, and he asked me if I'd be interested in writing a proposal to the Department of Energy to study the feasibility of producing energy, electricity, with wind power here in western North Carolina. And so I wrote a proposal that was funded by the U.S. Department of Energy, and that produced the wind map for North Carolina, and also showed that we've got definitely significant opportunities for generating electricity with wind power here in western North Carolina.
Dennis Scanlon is a professor at App State and is teaching a class on alternative energy.
And this could power pretty much an energy efficient house.
This day he's brought his class from the main campus in Boone out to the Beech Mountain study site to get some hands-on knowledge of how to use wind energy.
I learned a lot about how to measure the wind and how to analyze the data and determine the characteristics of a good wind site. And now we're starting to learn about the actual wind turbine technology, different types of towers, and how to build a system correctly and safely. What do you think is an advantage of a downwind design? Why did they design it that way, you think? Doesn't need a tail, just one more part.
Brian Johnson is a graduate student in Dr. Scanlon's class. Johnson says this project is important to the environment.
The impending climate crisis that I think it's upon us now and will be a significant factor in all of our lives and future generations. Fossil fuels are becoming scarce, harder to find, more expensive. Renewable energy brings the promise of clean energy, carbon-free energy that can be accessible to all people.
Brent Somerville is the site manager at Beech Mountain. He checks the towers and performs maintenance, as well as collects data from the energy outputs of each turbine. So what makes this a good test site?
First and foremost, it's very windy up here. On the scale of 1 to 7, this is class 5. It's really class 5.9. So it's almost class 6, and we're surrounded by class 7, Beech Mountain, class 7, Grandfather Mountain, and class 7, Sugar Mountain. We're just a little bit lower down at class 5, almost 6. But what that means is it's really windy. We have a high annual average wind speed, about 16 miles per hour is our average wind speed, including a lazy wind summertime.
The turbines used on the mountain are test equipment from different manufacturers. Somerville checks to see that each windmill can stand up to some of the most harsh weather in the country.
Originally, we thought we would just get a sampling of what was on the market available, like a showroom for cars, so people could come see what's available, how much does it cost, what are the different towers look like. But it's such a rigorous site that the manufacturers started sending us their beta equipment. So hey, we developed a new turbine.
So it's a great place to test turbines, because if there are weaknesses in the technology, they tend to show up here very quickly.
This high wind collection is not wasted. The energy produced by the turbines is either put into battery storage, used to power the data collection building on site, or it's sent onto the grid for customers to buy as clean, green energy.
So we end up only using about 10% of the energy we produce here. The other 90% is fed back onto the grid and shared with the community.
There are always concerns with new energy sources. Avian impact, noise concerns, and visual issues have held wind energy back in the U.S. But that's what this site is here to research. How does wind energy truly impact the environment?
We're finding it's a very benign technology. This is a free source of fuel that we have here in North Carolina, and I think it's really irresponsible for us to ignore it or to ban the technology. I think we need to try to figure out which types of wind turbines will be most appropriate for this region, and try to help people learn about the technology and also dispel some of the myths associated.
Scanlon points out that if wind energy is accepted in the state, it can not only provide a clean and free energy source to North Carolinians, but also provide a boost to the economy.
North Carolina has been very supportive of renewables and energy efficiency. They've recently passed a renewable portfolio standard that will require about 12.5% of our electricity to come from renewables and energy efficiency by 2021.